This is the new Porsche 911 992 generation GT3 RS. It's the most hardcore, track-focused 911 you can buy, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about it. Formal Porsche 911 is an incredible car, but it looks a bit tame, a bit sensible. Well, no one's going to call the new GT3 RS sensible, are they? It looks like someone took Porsche's new 911 GT3R, peeled off the sponsor logos and bolted on some number plates. The front bumper is similar to the normal GT3, but it's lower, wider and has a new front splitter. The bonnet vents are even bigger than on the GT3. Now, they remind me of an angry gorilla with flared nostrils. You'll spot loads of other changes when you look at the GT3 RS from the side. The air vents above the front wheels are bigger and more aggressive than on the old car, and the red graphics are a nod to the old 997 GT3 RS. Another cool feature is the massive crease in the door that was inspired by road-going versions of the 911 GT1 Le Mans car from the 1990s. The most extreme angle of the new GT3 RS is definitely from behind. It has a similar diffuser to the standard GT3, as well as dual-center exhaust that you get on all Porsche GT cars. But that rear wing is just on another level. Literally. It's taller than the car's roof. I'll tell you more about that in a bit, along with all the other insane aero features on this new car. But first, what do you think of this car's design? Do you prefer it to something like a McLaren 600 LT, or do you rather have a Lamborghini Huracan STO? I'll put a pinned comment below so you can have a vote on which car is your favourite. One of the best things about any Porsche GT model is its engine, and this new GT3 RS's flat 6 is shaping up to be an absolute cracker. It's based on the 4-litre naturally aspirated unit you get in the normal GT3, but Porsche has fitted new camshafts to make it feel even snappier at high revs. They didn't raise the engine rev line over that in the GT3 though, so it still revs to 9,000 RPM, but Porsche has squeezed out more power than you get in that car. How much more? Well, the GT3 RS makes 525 horsepower. That's 15 horsepower more than the new GT3, and only 5 horsepower more than you got in the old GT3 RS. You can get the standard 911 GT3 with a manual gearbox or a 7-speed PDK automatic. You don't get that choice with the RS model though. It comes with the PDK as standard. Yes, I know some of you die-hard petrol heads would probably rather have a manual, but the auto is just quicker around a track, and that's what this car is all about. In fact, you can bet Porsche will aim to beat the old GT3 RS's Nürburgring lap time of 6 minutes and 56 seconds. It might even get close to the 6 minutes and 43 seconds set by the old GT2 RS. Anyway, back to the GT3 RS. Its 7-speed dual-clutch automatic isn't the same gearbox as you get in the normal GT3. Porsche has given the RS a shorter final drive ratio, which helps improve acceleration across all 7 gears. Speaking of which, how quick is the new GT3 RS? Well, Porsche says it'll do 0 to 60 miles an hour in 3.2 seconds. That's the same time as the old GT3 RS, and it's 0.2 of a second quicker than the standard GT3. The thing is, Porsche tends to fib about these numbers. These cars are usually much quicker. Just check out the 0 to 60 time I got from the new GT3.
Come on, what you got? 2.87 to 60.
Yeah, I reckon the new GT3 RS will do 0 to 60 miles an hour in around 2.7 seconds. Now, if you'd like to see how quick the GT3 is over a quarter mile, there should be a little banner appearing in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Click that and you can see for yourself, or there's a link in the description below. Anyway, back to the GT3 RS. What's that car's top speed? Well, it runs out of puff at 184 miles an hour. That's 13 miles an hour slower than the new GT3. Yeah. How does that work? Well, it's the new gearbox ratios. That's part of the reason. But the aerodynamics also play a part. You see, this new GT3 RS is all about downforce and cornering speeds. This means it has a much bigger splitter than the normal GT3, and Porsche has redesigned the car's radiator to help make more use of the air that flows under the bonnet. There's actually no luggage space under there anymore. Instead, you get 2 massive vents that direct hot air up through the bonnet and around the car's cabin. Other intakes in the bumper shove air behind the car's LED headlights. Then it gets accelerated over special tear-shaped suspension control arms, just like the ones on a Formula 1 car. These help give the GT3 RS an extra 40 kilograms of front downforce when you max it out. This isn't the only hidden aero trickery on the RS. There's a lot going on underneath the car as well. Porsche hasn't shown any photos yet, but here's Porsche's director of GT models, Andreas Prauninger, to explain.
The whole under construction of the car is full of vanes and guiding flappers to get the best aerodynamical results.
Okay, I guess we'll just have to take his word for it. Anyway, there are plenty of other aero bits you can see. Two vertical fins on the roof help direct hot air from the bonnet vents away from the air intakes behind the rear windscreen. Yep, this means the huge intakes behind the doors don't feed air into the engine like on a 911 Turbo S. They actually guide air through the rear wheel wells and blow it out through the vents in the rear bumper. The biggest feature is obviously the huge rear wing. It's taller, wider and thicker than anything Porsche has ever put on a road-going 911 before. It helps the RS produce 860 kilograms of total downforce at 177 miles an hour. That's double the amount of downforce you got with the old GT3 RS and 3 times more downforce than you get with the new GT3. Actually, if you want to see how those two cars compare in a quarter-mile drag race, once again, there's a little banner popping out in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Click on that, you can watch the video. There's also a link in the description below if you don't see the banner. Anyway, back to the new RS, because one of my favourite features on the whole car is fitted to that rear wing. It's a DRS drag reduction system, just like on Formula 1 cars. If you hit the DRS button on the steering wheel, a hydraulic ram opens the upper wing flap to help the GT3 RS slip through the air more easily. And when you brake hard, the flap closes to turn the huge rear wing into a massive air brake. While we're talking about the brakes, the new GT3 RS comes with 408mm steel front brakes with 6-piston calipers and 380mm steel rear brakes with 4-piston calipers. The actual pistons themselves are 2mm wider than on the GT3 for even more bite. If you want to, you can upgrade to carbon ceramics, and then you have 410mm front discs and 390mm rear discs. With these fitted, the new GT3 RS has the shortest stopping distance of any Porsche road car. Now, Porsche hasn't given an actual figure yet, so I'll have to test it for myself when I get to review this new GT3 RS. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and you'll be notified when that video goes live. Porsche hasn't just upgraded the brakes on the GT3 RS, it's also upgraded the suspension geometry. The track is now 29mm wider thanks to new control arms and steering knuckles. And these have also been designed to stop the nose diving when you brake hard into corners. A new steering wheel isn't usually the most exciting thing about a new Porsche, but the one in the GT3 RS comes with some awesome new features. There's that DRS button I mentioned earlier, but you also get 2 rotary dials for controlling the adaptive suspension. So what, you might be thinking? After all, you've been able to adjust the suspension in a 911 for years. Well, yes, but not like this. The RS comes with adjustable compression and rebound damping, so you can ignore Porsche's engineers and set the damping exactly as you want it on each axle without having to get your hands dirty. And if you reckon you know more about differentials than Porsche, you can mess around with the settings for the limited slip differential as well. Porsche has gone to great lengths to make this GT3 RS as light as possible. This means the doors, front wings, bonnet and roof are all made from carbon fibre. You also get full carbon bucket seats as standard. And you can also pay extra to get a set of forged magnesium wheels that are 8 kilograms lighter than the standard forged alloy ones. All in, the new GT3 RS weighs 1,450 kilos. That's a little bit heavier than a GT3 with a PDK gearbox. That car weighs 1,435 kilos, but the GT3 doesn't have any of the RS's active aero or suspension upgrades. Speaking of upgrades, you can kit out your GT3 RS with the optional Club Sport pack. This is a no-cost option, just like on the GT3 and GT4 RS. And it comes with a steel roll cage in the back, a fire extinguisher and a 6-point racing harness for the driver. Next is the Visac pack. This gives you an unpainted carbon fibre finish on the bonnet and roof, and buying the Visac pack also unlocks another extra, a carbon fibre roll cage that's 6 kilos lighter than the steel one. Unlike the Club Sport pack, the Visac pack isn't free though. It costs more than £22,500. Go for the pricey carbon roll cage and the whole package will set you back almost £26,000. So how much does the new GT3 RS actually cost? Well, it's on sale now and it costs from £178,500. That's over £40,000 more than the GT3 and it's almost £10,000 more than a 911 Turbo S. Don't worry though, it's a lot cheaper than a 911 Sport Classic. That'll set you back more than £210,000. And the new GT3 RS isn't a limited run production car like that. So you don't have to know that special Porsche handshake to get yourself